Welcome to Jewel in the Crown, Football Brisbane's podcast where we talk about women's football in this lovely state of Queensland. I'm Peter Hodgkin. I'm here with Dr. G. How are you, Greg?
I'm good. How are you, Peter?
I'm great because we have a special guest in tonight.
Special guests, I love them.
Lorena Maggio.
Hello, Peter. Hello, Greg.
Welcome back. We had you here last year. It's good to get returning guests.
Yeah, it's good to be back.
So how was the New York experience?
The New York experience, well, definitely one of the highlights of my football career. Fortunately came back with an injury, but other than that, it was definitely a good experience.
You got nearly all the way through the season before you got hurt?
Yeah, I got injured in the last game, in the last 10 minutes.
Oh, that sucks, isn't it?
I've always done my knee in the first game of fixtures.
You weren't playing Rough Riders, were you?
No, we weren't.
Because I read that they're like real rivals of the New York Magic.
Yeah, they were. That we had a win against them though, and a loss too. Scored against them too.
Oh.
Yeah, so we kept tabs on how you were going.
Yeah.
And so you were scoring here and there and getting plenty of time in the midfield.
Yeah. I was playing more on the right and left midfield. And I scored the opening goal for our season in the first game as a halftime sub, and I just continued to score after that, which was pretty good.
Yeah, no, excellent. So how would you compare? Like, it's called the W League, isn't it, that you're playing?
Yeah, it's called the W League.
So how does that W League compare with our version of W League?
It's pretty similar, but they play a very different style of football over there compared to what we do here.
Now, I caught up with you right at the beginning of the season when you just got back, and we were talking about the artificial pitch. You said there were quite a few artificial pitches over there?
Yeah, out of all our games, I think all of them except one was on the artificial turf, which was probably a lot more different. So it was more fast paced than it is over here because of the surface that we played on.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So the ball tended to just move
roll.
really quickly?
Yeah, the ball went really quickly.
Does that mean you got to be technically better?
Yes and no. You had to have a better touch.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
and weight your passes a lot more because if you did a long ball, if you didn't weight it, it'd go out.
Okay, so what about shooting? So make a difference?
Not really a shooting.
Okay. Now that you're back, you came back with a knee injury.
Yes.
But you were telling us earlier that you've had a second operation?
Yeah, I did. I had a ACL reconstruction about 9 months ago, and it didn't quite heal. So I had a second operation 2 months ago to remove, obviously, one of the screws they do in a ACL surgery. And at this stage, so far, so good.
You're walking good. 2 months, you're not obviously limping or anything like that. So that's always a good sign. Young bodies heal fast.
But the biggest news is you are now the Western Pride coach.
I am, as of 2 weeks.
So, Lorena, how did that happen?
Well, the club, I have a cousin that plays at the club, so I spent a lot of time there watching her games. She's the under-13 MPL
Okay,
team.
yep.
Yeah, and about a couple of weeks ago, I got a phone call from the club, asked if I was interested to coach. And obviously they were looking for a coach. I can't play at the moment, so I couldn't say no.
There you go.
So how are you finding that?
It's good. It's different. It's very different. Obviously, from being a player to being a coach. I'm dealing with girls between 16 and 22, so they're quite young. They're still learning a lot of things, but so far so good.
So what's the feeling? I mean, we all know that the Pride have copped a lot of hammering all year. So what's the feeling like with the girls out there?
That's the thing. They've struggled a lot with players. They've had games they've had 9 or 10 girls, which in any team that's hard.
Yes.
But in saying that, now we've got a couple of new signings, which is
So who's the new signing?
I've got one at the moment that I'll let you in on, Steph Maverick. So
Very good.
She played on the weekend and definitely helped us out a lot. We lost, but there were so many positives all over the field that the girls.
And Steph Maverick's come from East.
She's come from East.
Now, that's funny because we saw you downstairs talking to another East player. We won't name any East players.
Well, what the East player we normally run into at football,
Okay.
but that one.
Yeah, that one. Yeah. I've also spotted Karen Longbottom. We are talking about Karen Longbottom in a Gold Coast uniform on the Football Brisbane website recently.
Yeah,
for the Champions
she gets
of Champions.
around. I'm not sure how that happens.
Oh, that Karen, yeah.
Yeah. She
Well-
plays for many teams. It's just a little aside on Karen. Isn't it her 100th game for East this weekend? So that's a big achievement. So we'll, credit where credit's due. Congratulations.
Yeah, definitely. Well done.
Karen, to get up to that.
Now, before we talk about your game on the weekend, I'll just quickly run through the BWPL results from last weekend, because obviously that's where the champion of champions is going to come from.
That was a segue. See, that was a good link. Yeah.
So Peninsula 1 defeated Mitchelton 0, Annerley 1 lost to Ipswich Knights 3, Souths 3 defeated Redlands 2, and that leaves Ipswich on top of the table with 27, closely followed by Eastern Suburbs on 24. Both teams having played 9 games. Yep. So all the buys. The third place team is the Gap on 18 points. So they're still a fair way back. So it seems like our champion of champions contender is going to come out of one of those two.
And they'll play the Gold Coast or whoever else. I can't keep track of that just yet. Okay, so that's the B League.
B League, yes.
Q League.
Q League. Results from round 10. First game. Western Pride 1, Eastern Suburbs 6.
Was it a spiteful encounter, seeing as you played at East? You've taken some East players. Did Jeff shake your hand, or did he,
Nah, Jeff was good. He shook my hand. We had a chat before the game. But I think it made it a little bit more exciting knowing it was your old club too.
So what happened in the game?
Well, it was actually 0-0 to at least, I think, 25, 30 minutes into the game. He's got a few goals from, I think Laura Harris had a crack of a shot that our keeper couldn't quite get to. But it was a pretty good game. Like, our girls had a lot of chances. We obviously got 1 goal, but they hadn't played together, obviously with Steph as well, and we've had a lot of injuries. And another girl that's been injured came back for the first game in a few weeks, so they were just trying to adapt together again.
Okay, so the goals from East from Nicole Quinn, Laura Harris, Georgina Amos, Tiff Roberts, and Courtney Donsky. Again,
they spread those goals around at East.
Was Courtney's a header? Because she often scores from headers.
I think so, actually. Yeah, I think it was.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And Kate Morton got your goal. Is that the Kate Morton that got picked in the schoolgirls?
That would be, yes, Kate. Yep.
So well done, Kate.
Yeah.
And half-time 3-0. So welcome to the Q League, Lorena.
Well, I'm glad. So even though they've been short players, no one's pulled the pin. So that shows a bit of character.
No, they haven't. And I think that obviously bringing a new coach in gives, like with my experience as well, I think that they're excited for that as well, and hopefully they can learn more things. But the last 2 games, they've improved each week. So the season's going to be a bit more exciting now with them.
Oh, good.
Now, someone did mention, it might have been Jeff mentioned to me, that just keep an eye on the Pride as they move into the second half, that they could all of a sudden find themselves in the top of the bottom 4 type, in the top 4.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
I know what you mean.
Yeah. So, well, with Lorena coaching,
and maybe
sky's the limit.
Maybe playing later in the season.
Maybe.
Yeah, it's scary going back. Oh, yes.
I went to a game on Saturday night.
Right.
Mitchelton hosted the Gap. The Gap ran out winners 2-0.
The highlights are on the washing line.
They are. Now, Gabrielle Mazzano scored in the first half and Ruth Blackburn in the second half.
Now, you go on.
And I was going to say, I spoke to the Gap coach, Rob Askew, after the game, so have a listen to what he had to say. Hi, Rob. Congratulations on the win. Welcome to Jewel again. How'd you find that?
Thanks, Peter. No, it was we're satisfied. It was a difficult game. It was well contested, but in the end we would have liked to have scored a few more, and probably felt that we should have. I mean, I think we had quite a lot of opportunities, but in the end, 3 points is 3 points. Overall satisfied, and credit to Missy, they really did compete well right into the final minutes.
So, but the Gap juggernaut rolls on. You had players missing, obviously, that we could see, but players came in, took their opportunities.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we were lucky this week that Pammy has come back to play again, because with Beck got a hip flexor injury on Thursday, so it was very fortuitous timing. So, yeah, that's the way we like to be. We like to have flexibility and players can do a job if asked, and they can do a job in a number of roles. So, at times we're going to be without players, and we just have to deal with it. And I think we do deal with it, and that's good for us.
A little bit of a different style to what I'm used to seeing you. There's a little bit more through ball.
Well, Mitchelton played a very high line. They were clearly trying to compress the game, and there was space in behind them. And if we could have got our final pass a bit better, and certainly we're going to be working on that Thursday.
We might have some shooting practice on Thursday as well.
We are, yeah, I've already said that. They've been told it's shooting practice because we did miss quite a few very good chances. But yeah, there was an opportunity to play that lofted ball in behind, and that's what you got to do. You got to see the game that's in front of you, and that's what was there.
And that was a classic first goal. The first goal was that through ball in behind their left fullback, and a great finish.
Yeah, well, the difference was Ashley Bucknell got the ball there, and instead of playing the ball, in a straight line, she looked inside, and we played off Ruth, and Ruth came deep from the 9 roll, which gave a little space to run from wide into that central area, and it was 3 or 4 beautiful passes in the back of the net. It was good.
Yeah, it was a nice goal. I obviously watched Mitchie play UQ last week and again this week. The Gap UQ game is going to be solid. It's going to be a great game.
Well, it should be interesting. I'm probably expecting a bit of a contrast in styles. I suspect that they're a bit of a counter-attacking side, and they've got the Japanese girl who's scoring a lot of goals. So that's going to be, it's going to be an interesting game.
It'd be one to watch. I hope the cameras were here tonight, so I hope the cameras are at the Gap UQ game.
Yeah, it'll be, hopefully that will... I don't know if there's a trophy for winning the 14-team competition, but hopefully we're looking to be top at the end of that, so that's our goal.
Oh, good luck for the rest of the season, Rob. Thanks for your time.
Cheers, Peter. Thanks.
Interesting.
Very interesting, yeah.
The comments that Mitchie played a very high line, and both goals were played from passes inside the Gap's own half through the back line to get their
Well, Ruth Blackburn had a couple of chances like that. She ran on to... I mean, that's how she scored her goal. She ran onto one of those passes, followed up the shot. I'm a bit... I'm interested in how she was still on the park for a goal, really. If you look at it, she'd been booked earlier in the game, and then she's hit the goalkeeper. Not hit her, sorry. But she's bumped the goalkeeper. I don't know if it was on purpose or not, but then the ref's given her a talking to. Now, my understanding is if you're going to give someone a talking to and they're already on a card... You shouldn't be talking to them. Just give them another yellow card and send them off.
Well, I should have interviewed the ref then.
Well, sometimes it would be helpful if a ref would come on. I mean, if it's like I didn't see it like that, I saw it as an accidental.
It from the highlights. Yeah.
That's right. I saw it from the highlights. And now it could have just been that she was just being lazy and didn't pull out of running into the keeper. It could have been that she actually sort of gave her a little nudge as the keeper was getting up. I don't know. Yeah. But the ref has decided to give her a talk. And she was on a yellow card.
Now, there were quite a few of those balls where it went through, and Amatala for Mitchie had a great game of goals, full of some terrific saves. And that wasn't the first time in the match that she'd come out like diving at feet and whatever, taking the ball off a striker's foot. So there's probably a bit of frustration from the Gap in they were creating chances but not scoring. Now, Ruth Blackman was getting pretty tightly man-marked for most of the game, so whether that was just a little bit of reaction to that, I don't know.
No,
we're just watching from the sidelines.
4 minutes of highlights, and we'll speculate from that wildly.
I didn't think the ref had a particularly bad game. I don't remember anything really from the ref, sort of that you'd go,
I'm just
the
a
ref's
bit curious. The way I've been told is your yellow card is the warning. Once. Anyway,
look, the Gap 2-0 winners over Mitchie. The Gap roll on, setting up a 1-2 clash this week with Palm Beach.
Yep. Next game, Souths took on Peninsula Power, and Souths were leading 1-0 at half-time, but Peninsula Power ends up winners 3-2. You know how last week I said there was the first time that a team that was leading at half-time lost the game? Well, there's twice it's happened this week, so I've jinxed the entire competition by saying that half-times win matches.
So, Lorena, there's hope if you're behind at half-time. You can now win. Wayne Hammond from South said that they probably should have wrapped that game up in the first half.
Right.
But they didn't. They played for 97% of the time, lost concentration, and Brett Whitfield for Power scored a hat-trick.
Hat-trick, yep.
And he said expect a big improvement in their concentration against Olympic because Angry Coach was coaching this week. So
Angry Coach is a tough thing. It can only come out once a season, I find. Any more than that, and people ignore and don't respect Angry
I think
Coach.
Probably would have been...
Oh, yeah, they needed to win that one.
Well, that's a game that you probably, as a coach, you're probably penciling in against a team that's very similar to you on the ladder.
Yep.
So you're looking at getting the 3 points from there. To be one up and then lose,
that's right.
It's probably a little bit disappointing. But what it does do is set Power up nicely for their game this weekend and to push on to that top 7, if they're good enough.
If they're good enough. And lucky too.
And just quickly, Kate Lawson and April Gleeson were the goal scorers for South.
Yes. First took on second. Palm Beach took on UQ. Just before we go on, Lorena, which teams have you coached against now? So Palm Beach.
Palm Beach was the first and East was the second.
Okay, so just 2 top 4 teams.
Yep.
Okay.
UQ this weekend.
Oh, so you've had an easy run in as coach.
Well, that's good. Well, you'd be in a good position to compare. Well, you should be able to compare Palm Beach and East and
Yeah,
see
exactly.
what the
And you've
what
also
you think.
got Redlands coming up as well, I think. So.
I do, yeah.
Yeah, all the good
Look at-
games.
yeah.
And the gap after 2 weeks' time.
Oh, really? Oh, brilliant. So the coach before you took all the easier teams and said, oh, sorry,
Here
whatever
you go,
reason.
take the rest of the season, yeah. Nah.
Okay, then. Well, Palm Beach did take on UQ. UQ were leading 1-0 at half-time, a goal by Greta Bodie.
Yep.
And then Palm Beach winners, 4-1.
Now, Gary French from Palm Beach said that in the second half that they put the UQ girls under an enormous amount of pressure, and he just had the feeling they would score. But in the same sentence, he basically said he was very impressed by UQ. And that's, again, I think Tegan gave UQ a bit of a rap.
Well, yeah.
Well, obviously UQ won that game.
Yes.
But that's not the first comment we've got
rewriting
back
report this
about
week. Oh,
that. Well, I didn't play on the weekend.
that's right. I'm a bit disappointed. Yeah.
So, yeah, UQ gave it to them for the first half. Now, Otter's back.
Yes.
After dodging terrorists over in Kenya, wherever he was.
I'm sure there weren't any.
Well,
Does he
he's-
have a noise? Does Otter have a noise? Let's just wait and see.
So Otter said that it was a fantastic game, even though Palm Beach won it. He said a UQ threw everything at Palm Beach in the first half, and obviously we know that Greta Bodie scored, but he said they probably didn't leave enough in the tank for the second half. So they pretty much exhausted themselves. Bit of controversy.
Really?
Yeah, who's no longer the leading goal scorer,
No.
smashed a shot against the crossbar, bounced down. Did it go over the line?
One of those.
Yes, Otter thinks it did. Some of the Palm Beach supporters later in the game, later on, said yes, it did. But the referee play on. That's the way it happens. He took that on the chin. But yeah, it would have been that sort of thing can fire you up in a game.
It can.
Didn't
Fire up both sides.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like you get on with it. So, good game. Otter just went on to say it was a good game. Palm Beach deserved to win in the end. So
Now, we were speculating last week, talking to David, that Palm Beach might be losing some players due to the schoolgirls, and same with UQ. Any word
Yes.
on that sort of stuff?
only that we know that there's a few of the girls from Palm Beach going over to the US for scholarships.
Okay.
We don't know which ones exactly. So,
No.
so the second half, when they move into that second half of the season, they're probably going to be down a little bit. But knowing Palm Beach, they've got such a good
obviously.
production
Yeah.
line of young girls coming through. Just replace them with
Yeah.
someone just as good, probably.
The goal scorers for Palm Beach, 2 to Lauren Brown, 1 to Amy Morland and Harriet Withers. So the same old names keep banging them in. And that shows a bit of grit too, to come back from a 1-0 down and then really overrun 4-1 is 4.5 against UQ.
Well, didn't David Smith from UQ say last week that he thought that these young NPL type teams with all these young girls were actually fitter than the
Could
older
be.
bodies, and it seems Palm Beach perhaps the same.
Yeah,
They just ran it out.
definitely.
So, anyway, down over at Taringa,
Yep.
poor old Kelvin laments his defensive mistakes and loses 3-0 to Annalee.
Now, last week, before we talked about this game, I said Rebecca Sweeney to score a brace, and she's
You
listened.
got it wrong.
I did get it wrong.
Well,
She
actually,
scored a
you
hat-trick.
got it right twice.
Well, she scored 2 braces if
Yes.
you count. Yeah. So Rebecca
Well
Sweeney
done,
with a hat
well
trick.
done,
Yeah.
Greg.
And I'm happy with that bit of tipping. It's just on the nature of mistakes. That's the way these top level games are decided. Yes, it's the occasional levels of brilliance and great play that's to score goals, but often the team that makes the least mistakes is the winner.
Yeah, and often teams losing the ball in transition from defence to attack get caught going the other way.
Yep.
It happens so often in games. Everyone's out of position
It
because they're
happened in
moving forward.
the championship playoff, I think, between, what was that team that won and the other team that lost? I think our silent producer knows, and the defence didn't clear the ball and the striker slammed it in.
Well, there you go.
So it happens
a lot.
even at the Premier League and the one beneath it.
Now, obviously, there were a couple of games that weren't played, but Golden Boot, guess who's on top now?
Britt Whitfield.
Britt Whitfield. She's 15 goals from 8 games.
Mm.
That's nearly 2 goals a game.
Well, yes.
And that's
Good
not bad
maths.
from a striker that's playing in a team in the bottom
Bottom
7.
half. Yes, and I don't think she might have played in the first few games.
She's missed a couple, hasn't she?
Yeah. Obviously, Power had a shocking start to the season. I mean, shocking that they had played well. They were the opposite of Western Pride. You've got the top 7 in the back half of the season. Power had them at the start of the season. If they had a bit of a mix-up, if they had some tough games and easy games, they might have got some more momentum out of it. But
Well, they're getting a little bit of momentum now.
They are.
Even though, I mean, they lost to Fire, but it was a close game.
Yeah.
Lauren Brown from Palm Beach up on 15 as well. And Eyes still on 13 because she didn't score last weekend. Leah Curtis still on 13 and Harriet Withers from Palm Beach on 11.
I looked into the card situation, disciplinary issues. Power has had 6 yellow cards, 1 red card. 4 teams have had 5 yellow cards, being Mitchie, Sunny Coast, the Gap and Western Pride. Now, the Gap have had 2 red cards. So that Gap frustration might be a real thing there, Pete.
Yeah,
East Olympic Thunder have had 3 yellow cards, Reds and UQ 2 yellow cards, Souths on 1. 3 teams haven't received any cards, Palm Beach, Annalee and Taringa. So congratulations to those teams.
yes,
fair
well
play.
done, girls.
Yeah. The ladder?
The ladder. Palm Beach are on top with 28 points.
Mm-hmm.
The Gap on 24, UQ on 24. Eastern Suburbs are back in the top 4 on 22.
Yep.
Followed by Redlands on 19, and then Olympic and Sunshine Coast Fire both on 15, and that rounds out the top 7.
Yeah.
And then Mitchelton on 12, Power on 9, Annalee also on 9, Southwest Queensland on 7, Souths on 6, Taringa on 3, and Western Pride haven't got any points at all, Lorena.
Well,
Not yet, that's right.
Not yet, though.
It'll come.
You've got all these new signings coming in.
That's it. If this was a regular season, we'd be over halfway by now, wouldn't we? This is round 11. Yeah. Just
We've just played 10 games, so
we're
pretty close to halfway.
Palm Beach still undefeated. Do you think they can go the whole way? What do you reckon, Lorena? You reckon they're going to go undefeated?
Remembering that
They got to play the tops
when you get into the split, they play all those top teams again.
Back to back. But I mean, in a regular season, they would have had to have played each team twice.
Yeah, I'm just saying they're going to play the Gap, they're going to play Redlands, they're going to play UQ again. So the chances of them winning all of those games.
I'm putting it out there. I think they can go there. That might be the touch of death, but I think they can do it. They've 4 against second, and they've still got a very good defensive record. They've got over 50 goals difference at the moment, which is
that's pretty amazing.
It is.
I think it'll be tough to go. Mind you, 2 teams went undefeated last year.
That's right.
So it's possible.
It is.
So,
okay, so games coming up. Some big games.
There is. Friday night it starts.
That means we're at Heath Park, 8:30.
8:30, East on against Redlands.
Ooh, what's that? 4th versus 5th?
Yeah, so now it's getting tight. Now, Lorena, what do you reckon?
Yeah. Oh, that's going to be a tough one. But
Come on, you're the pride coach now, so you
can stick it into the other team.
No loyalty to East whatsoever.
No, but, I think it's going to be a tight game. I'm going to say who,
You got to.
Can't sit on the fence.
You can't sit on the fence.
East, sorry, but
East.
Yeah,
okay,
I'm back in East.
Fair enough. I'm not sure on this one.
You're not sure. I think Redlands will win.
Do you?
Yes.
I don't know. I think I'm tipping a draw. Haven't seen too many of them, but I'll tip it.
Then on Saturday, 5 p.m. at Elder Oval, the first of the double headers.
I like these double headers. More clubs should do them.
Annalee hosting Sunshine Coast Fire.
Yeah, interesting game because Sunny Coast didn't play last weekend. They were supposed to play Olympic. So I'm sure Olympic will come and watch this game and Sunny Coast will hang around and watch Olympic play.
If Sunny Coast win this game, that'll push them up to 18 points and almost certainly seal their spot in the top 7.
Their goal difference is just so much better than anyone below them. Well, it's still minus. I think it's -6 or something. But
they'll have the points on the board. Yeah. So I'm tipping Fire.
I think Fire will probably win this, but 2 good results in a row for Annalee. If they keep that going, remember this is the team that most of them played Div 1 last year. So they've been promoted and they've done a good job in the end. I think Gervais probably wants at least 1 more win out of the last 4 games, maybe 2. If they can finish sort of 8th or 9th.
She's going all out. She's got the Gap.
But she's new. She's new. She's got this enthusiasm. She's not broken down by the system.
They're going to upset someone along the way. So, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm tipping. I'm tipping a draw on this one.
That's two. Who's sitting on the fence now?
I'm not sitting on the fence. I'm just choosing.
One leg either side.
I'm choosing a draw. It's an option.
Okay, fair enough. It's an option. Lorena?
I'm going to go with Sunny Coast, I think.
Oh, first, second, 6 p.m. Walton Bridge.
Cameras will be there.
Cameras will be there. Hey, do you guys just follow the gap? Is that what it is? I mean, Gap or Mitchelton? Bloody Mitchelton always get on the
that's
cameras
because they
too.
got that trestle thing sitting up on the other side, and that's if you want
true.
the cameras to your ground, guys, you've got to give them somewhere to put the camera up high.
Yeah.
And East have got one.
They do.
Mitchie have built one similar to that.
Mm-hmm.
Power have got the balcony.
Basically, is Mitchie's strategy been what has East done in the last 5 years? Let's do that. Is that what Mitchie's been doing?
No, because we've not won the BW League for the last 4 or 5 years in a row.
Apart from the winning.
Apart from the winning, yeah.
Okay.
So East have done really well with women's football. Why wouldn't you follow the model?
Exactly. So the Gap do take on Palm Beach. Big game.
Big game. Oh, it's a massive game.
It is.
Well, it's a massive game, but don't forget they've got to play each other again after
Well,
this.
they do, but, you know.
So I'm going to go for draw, Greg.
Oh, well, I'm actually tipping Palm Beach. I think they're just seeing off the challenges. To come back from 1-0 down and really dominate that second half, well, so by the scoreline.
Yes.
I think that's going to be good. They could frustrate the Gap.
They could. I'm interested in what Lorena says.
I think a draw too, to be honest.
No.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, well, there you go.
Fair enough. Then at 7 p.m. at Eldorado, Olympic take on South United, and I think Olympic should win this one.
Lorena?
I'm going to go with Olympic.
Well, I think Olympic should win, but angry coach Wayne says his players will be primed for this one. And it's one of those games where one of these bottom 7 is going to upset one of the 7 contenders, and this could be the night. I think Olympic will win, though, but it could go the other way.
It could. I'm still tipping Olympic. Week off probably at this time of year is not a bad idea.
Olympic is similar to Fire. One more win will just about secure their spot in the top 7.
Will do. Thunder take on Taringa, the Battle of the Tees. I don't know.
Drive up the range.
Yep, I'm sure Kelvin's looking forward to that.
Thunder for me.
Probably Thunder for me.
Too young, too fast, too fit.
Lorena?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Thunder as
Okay.
well.
Pat take on Mitchie. Now, this is a big game.
This is, whoever loses this is probably done with a chance of getting into the top 7.
Yeah.
Now, they've got a slim chance at the moment. They're only that. They could make it. They could win the rest of their games and they could get there. So it's possible for either team. A draw will do neither of them any favours and will probably cut both of them out of the top 7.
That's right.
So Fire and Olympic are probably hoping for a draw.
Yes.
Mitchie should win this game.
Britt Whitfield's in good form.
That's the danger for Mitchie. If Britt Whitfield, whether they can contain her or not will be, I think, the key to this game.
Do you think the Mitchie bus is coming back?
No, I think they'll play higher up as well.
Okay.
I think they'll try and... they need to win the game, so I think they're going to need to attack. But Britt Whitfield is such a dangerous player and she finishes so well and she really touched them up in pre-season in a trial. So literally busted the line apart. So if they can't contain her... Now, they tried to contain Ruth Blackburn with what looked like man-on-man marking. If they do that with Britt, she might get quiet. But Mitchie should win it.
Okay. Lorena, what do you reckon?
I'm going to go with Mitch on that one, actually.
I think Power has just got that bit of a momentum at the moment and leading goal scorer. Mitchie, we know Mitchie concedes goals, lots of goals.
Yep.
So I'm going with Power.
Fair enough. Last game of the round, UQFC home on Sunday at 5 p.m. at Uni Oval number 3. I like the way Uni feels just called Uni Oval number 3. That's the way it should be. Guess who they host?
Western Pride.
Western Pride.
Yeah.
I know who you're going for, Lorena.
Well, like I said, I am going to go with Western Pride.
I like it.
We're improving every week, so I reckon anything's possible now. Got nothing to lose. We can do it.
Yeah, why not?
Well,
I think UQ will win.
I think UQ might be a bit shattered from last week. I think they might.
I don't
probably
think so.
over Pride. If they were playing a sort of this is a game. If you were saying this would be the time one of those Powers or Mitchies could have taken points off UQ. I think just the rebound.
Yeah.
Probably not Western Pride, but
It depends on, players like Georgia Chapman for UQ, if they're firing and they're passing the ball around pretty well. If the young Pride defence can't handle the Japanese Mitsuzaki from the J2 League. Matsuzaki. She's so dangerous that, Pride's problem will be if you go one behind Lorena, you're probably not going to win the game. But
really?
Well, at 0-0 going into the second half, 20 minutes to go, anything's possible. You get that breakaway. Kate Morton, we know, can score goals. So, there's an opportunity. But UQ for me.
I think UQ too. Okay, well, so before we go though, we've got other stuff.
We've got other stuff.
Always
have other stuff. Now, we know Japan won the Asian Cup.
We do.
We do. Beat
Against
Australia 1-0 in the final.
So they're the world champions and the Asian champions.
Yes, and going into the World Cup next year would be one of the favourites to make at least the semis.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Australia, I think, need to do something about scoring goals, but because I think their striker went through the entire tournament without scoring.
Oh, really? Who was that? Kai Simon?
Yes,
No. Shell Heyman.
Oh, okay. Yep,
so that would have, and it obviously hurt them in the final. They didn't get the goal. I mean, she got plenty of opportunities, half opportunities, I guess.
So the goals definitely came from other players, which was good to see.
Yeah, but you need a striker that puts a couple in. So
you do.
The City League Cup continues from next Wednesday.
Okay.
Into the second round. So in the first game, there's Bayside hosting Souths. Now, the Elaine Watson Cup starts next Wednesday night as well.
Oh, right.
With three games. And Lorena's up against Redlands.
We are. Tough one straight up.
Think you'll get through the first round?
I'm hoping.
Have a chat to Jeff on the weekend and make sure that East take out, because the East Niggle could take out a few Redlands.
Yeah.
Lining them up for you in the cup.
Wasn't it? Wasn't the East Nerves? No, it is the East Niggle. I can't keep track of all these teams and their things.
Well, the reserves get nervous and the East first have the Niggle.
Okay.
We haven't played Redlands yet either, so...
No.
Oh, I played them earlier in the year, lost 10-0. So don't
really?
worry. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all good.
Yeah. And
now, two other little points of interest, because I know you like your little stats.
Go on.
We know in SEQ WPL, first to play and second.
Yes.
Did you know that also in Women's City League 3 Blue, first to play and second on the weekend?
Okay.
Where Mogg are at home to KPR.
Right.
And also in Women's City League 4 Blue, also a 1v2 clash with Pine Rivers at home to Redcliffe, who are top of the table.
Okay.
So there you go.
Well, that is exciting.
It is.
I'm tipping KPR on that one and Pine Rivers.
Well, I watched KPR play Div 3 last Sunday because I was helping out with the Mitchie girls down there, and I think they might do it as well. And probably Pine Rivers to cause an upset as well over at Redcliffe.
Okay. Well, there you go. So is that our lot?
That's our lot.
Okay, good. So goodbye from me.
Thank you, Lorena, for coming in.
Thank you for coming along.
Peter and Greg.
Nice to see you
your
back.
knee gets better really soon, and I hope it doesn't cause you any more grief, and I hope your other knee stays good too.
Cheers. Thank you.
Thanks for listening.